Here come the boys. Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
I finally caught my breath after an exuberating 18 days down at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip. And what do Conor McGregor, Dana White, Jelly Roll, Kid Rock all have in common? They all came to party at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip. And it was a time. I mean, let me tell you, it was a time. One of the craziest, most exhausting, fun times I've ever had in my life. And we're going to talk all about it. I had a lot of people, and I mean tons of people, whether you saw me in the background of the viral clip with Conor McGregor and the little blonde gal, or if you saw the picture with Dana White. I had a lot of people reach out and be like, dude, what the hell is going on? So I decided I'm just going to do a podcast about it and talk about it and talk about how fortunate I am and all the great people at the Buffalo Chip and how much fun it was. And I hope you enjoy the ride. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to break it down day by day of what went down and tell some stories about Conor, Kid Rock, and Dana, Jelly Roll. Tell him, Jelly. And also about my favorite guy, Todd Bailey. Dally got to hang out with Dana White. Pretty crazy. Todd's a fantastic guy. We might hear from him a little bit later. But before we get to the Buffalo Chip Tales, we got to talk about it's football season. It's time. Let's get going. I'm going to be in the booth with this sponsor, Game Day Media. More than a game. Your leader in live video sports coverage in Northwest North Dakota. At Game Day Media, our goal is to expose, support, and promote the best athletes that North Dakota has to offer. Subscribe to our channel at Game Day Media ND on YouTube, or find us on Facebook at Game Day Media for schedules, quick links to games, stats, whatever you need. If you're looking to support a student athlete, it's right there. Make sure you also enable alerts and watch for upcoming events that we have. The 23rd, we're going to be here in Divide County watching their season opener, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And then another great sponsor with the great and powerful Nick Holberg. That's PSP Network. It's game day, baby. Get up and get after it now. PSP Network, they've been around a long time. They've been promoting student athletes as well. They just came out with their schedule, and they are having a plethora of football games coming up. Fall is here, and so is PSP Network. Check out their schedule of events on their website. That's psp.network, or on YouTube at PSP Network. Nick and his team they do a very professional stand-up job. So make sure you check out, subscribe, like videos, whatever it takes to make sure you check out PSP Network. Next up is, I'm a foodie and I love food. So if you're ever in Northwest North Dakota, specifically Williston, North Dakota, make sure you check out River's Edge Bar and Grill. They're known for offering the best happy hour in town, providing unbeatable deals in a lively atmosphere. Guests can also enjoy a variety of entertaining activities, including bingo, trivia, and the very popular Name That Tune. Come on down to River's Edge for great drinks, great food, and great fun. Next up is Glosso Angus. Glosso Angus is a proud sponsor of Swim Lessons, the podcast. They're your premier source for registered Black Angus cattle since 1973. Glosso Angus cattle showcase dominance, durability, and my favorite word, docility, and are built to thrive on the northern plains. Check them out. Glosso Angus, that's GLASOE, Angus.com. And last but not least, one of my favorite ones, they provided me with some great merch, and that's BSN Sports. Since 1972, BSN Sports has helped area sports teams look their best as they strive for their goals and dreams. They provide apparel, uniforms, and equipment for teams in nearly every sport. Local service with a national reach, that is BSN Sports. Contact your local BSN Sports representative for more information. BSN Sports is a proud sponsor of Swim Lessons, the podcast. So away we go with the tales and the recap of Buffalo Chip 2024. So some of you may know that I accepted a new job with the Greatest Party Anywhere, aka the Buffalo Chip, which is located in Sturgis, South Dakota. But the interesting thing about the Buffalo Chip is I've been there for 5 years. The previous 4 years, I got the job when I was moving back home, lost my job in Arizona to COVID, was moving back home, Nick Tanner Leak, the great and powerful Tanner Leak, has been there for like 40 years. It seems like. Just kidding, Tanner. But anyways, he calls me. He's like, dude, I see you're traveling through. Do you want to stop, make a little coin on your way back home? I'm like, yes, of course. So I stop, and right away I'm like, I'm not really a motorcycle guy. I'm not really a motorcycle rally guy. But he's like, dude, trust me, the people here are great. We're about a mile and a half out from Sturgis, so we're like our own little entity, and it's more of a music festival. I'm like, okay, I love live music, so I went and had a great time. Did my 4 years working as a bar back, did the pit boss thing for the VIP lounge, and then this last year I wanted to kind of expand my wings and expand my horizon, and got a job with marketing and sponsorship activations. So shout out Jeff D'Entremont and Damon Woodruff and Rod Woodruff. Damon and Rod own the place. Jeff is vice president, and also Tony Woodruff. But it's a fantastic group, and it's a very tight-knit group. And we knew going into this year, anytime Kid Rock announces the Buffalo Chip announces their lineup for the year, anytime Kid Rock is on that, you take a breath. Oh no, Kid Rock's coming. Kid Rock's coming. Because that alone is like the biggest and best thing for that culture of motorcycle people, of these guys that are ride, die, love America. That's Kid Rock. And everybody knows that. And so when they announced, Kid Rock's coming, I was like, oh man, this is going to be a big year. And then they're like, Jelly Roll's coming. Oh man, this is going to be a big year. Aaron Lewis is coming. Oh man, this is going to be a big year. Dasha is coming. Oh man, this is going to be a big year. Quiet Riot's coming. Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. So it was. And then they added this event kind of, I don't know, I would say a month before the rally started. And it was bare knuckle boxing, the fighting championship. And I was like, oh, that'll be fun. So anyways, I arrive, I had to come early to the chip to do some stuff for Jeff and Damon. And the actual music festival started Friday, August 2nd. And that night we had Bad Wolves and Leaving Hope. And for people that work at the chip, like the opening night is kind of like a walkthrough of what's about to come, the storm, if you will. Some people are just getting there. Some people have been there, but we know most people are still traveling to get there. So that's kind of a warm-up night. It was a good concert. Bad Wolves, Leaving Hope, they were good. And after that concert, a guy by the name of Greg, who helps out with some sponsorship stuff, he was in charge of the BKFC. And that night, we had heard rumblings of Conor McGregor coming to the Buffalo Chip because he's got some ownership in this bare knuckle boxing championship. But it's one of those things where you hear that every year. Oh, Hulk Hogan's going to come. Oh, Joe Rogan's going to come. Until they show up, it's like, I don't think that's going to happen. So after Bad Wolves left the stage Friday night, Greg, who's a worker at the chip, he comes out and he's got this very distinct voice. And he's like, I love the guy, but he's like a South Park character. And he's like, everybody listen up. Listen, listen, listen. And people are like kind of moving out after the concert. He's like, listen up. Conor McGregor is going to be here tomorrow night for the BKFC. And people lost their minds, including me. About 30 minutes prior to him announcing that, my cousin, Jaden S., sends me a Instagram story of Conor McGregor's. And it says, see you tomorrow night, Sturgis. And it was him like promoting the BKFC. And I'm like, holy shit, this thing might have legs. Like he might actually come. So fast forward to Saturday night, we've got the BKFC and they're putting up this huge stage right in front of the amphitheater. If you haven't been to the Sturgis Buffalo Chip, it's like this huge amphitheater when you roll down the hills from the gate. And it's this fabulous, huge, could hold a ton of people. And right in front of the stage, they're putting up this big like boxing ring with a roof over it. And it was a great, great production. It was big. It was going to be huge. So I asked my boss, I'm like, do you think Conor's coming? And he's like, I don't know. So I texted Damon, the vice president, the owner's son. And I'm like, dude, is Conor coming? He's like, where did you see that? And I'm like, oh, it's on his Instagram. So he's like, oh man, maybe he is. We're all like on pins and needles wondering if the Notorious is coming. So fast forward to 7 p.m. The fights were supposed to start at 7:30. And I'm kind of finishing up my shift. My day started about 8 a.m., usually went to like 6, 7 p.m. And I'm finishing up and I see this guy named Z, and Z is in charge of photography, video, everything for the Buffalo Chip. And he's kind of waiting backstage where all the bands and everybody flows in. And I'm walking by to go check out this BKFC event. And I go, Z, what are you up to? He's like, and he's got an accent. He's like, not much. I'm just, I'm hanging out, gonna try to get some good shots. I'm like, dude, do you think Conor's gonna roll in? Like, we should get when he rolls in and him walking out. That is a very good idea. We should do that. Do you mind helping me? I'm like, yeah, of course. So I grab a camera. He's got a camera. It's 7 o'clock. Fight start at 7:30. We wait. A Volkswagen pulls up, and it was guided in, and I'm shrugging to Z. I'm like, dude, is that Conor? I think that's Conor. That's got to be Conor. He's like, oh, man, get ready to shoot. And it wasn't Conor. He didn't roll up in a Volkswagen. 9 o'clock. We've been standing out there for 2 hours. 9 o'clock rolls in. 2 blacked out, murdered out SUVs come rolling in. And I look at Z, and Z looks at me. Security comes over, and they're like, who are you guys? What are you guys doing? We're like, oh, we work for the Buffalo Chip. They're like, stand to the side. Okay, not a problem. They roll up. Conor McGregor gets out. And I mean, I saw his aura. But dude, in all reality, I couldn't, it was one of those moments where like you watch somebody on TV fight so much, like he's a fantastic fighter. You watch just like anytime you're on Twitter, TikTok, whatever it is, you see him talking either like shit on his opponent or you see him fighting. And it's one of those moments where I'm like, holy, that's actually him. He walks out, he's balling out, and Conor, when he gets out, he walks just like he walks when he's going out to fight UFC. Like the same exact thing. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And then a moment in my life that I learned a valuable lesson happened. Z's like, let's go, let's follow him to stage. So we're following them up to the stage, and it's like this long walk, and you walk up to the top of the stage, and then it's just boom, people. And Conor had 2 security guards, another friend with him, and then 3 of his buddies. So they're all walking up, and security's like, hey, what are you guys doing? Are you guys supposed to be up here? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yes, we are. So he walks up, and I froze, and I went right when I zigged when I should have zagged. I should have went up on stage. So I go up in like these little seats that are right on top of the stage that nobody else was in. And I'm watching Z, and Z goes up to Conor, and he's like, hey, can you give us a quick shout out to the Buffalo Chip? And he's like, yes, of course. We're taking this to the world, the Buffalo Chip to the world, top of the moon. I'll play the clip. But anyways, he goes off, and he just killed this interview. And Z, all he asked was, do you mind saying something about the chip? So then a few moments later, the announcers get on the mic, and they're like, everybody, welcome Conor McGregor, the Notorious. And the place blows up. I mean, there was a ton of people there watching this BKFC. He walks to the middle of the stage, grabs one of his Irish stout beers and chugs it. And right on, I'm like, oh my God. So Z, my buddy, that's the camera guy, walks off. He goes, what happened to you? What happened? You could have interviewed McGregor. I'm like, oh my God. I missed my opportunity to interview Conor McGregor. Because before that, Z and I were talking to some of the other fighters for the BKFC about just like what their upcoming fights were. So Z was videoing, and I just had a little mic like, hey, how do you feel? What's going on? Who are you fighting? What's your story? What do you think of the chip? And I was just so frustrated with myself that I missed the opportunity to interview Conor McGregor. Like, it killed me. But that lesson that I learned there is going to come in later in the story. So anyways, Conor, the BKFC was a lot of fun. It's a great thing. Check it out if you haven't checked it out. It's a really, really unique thing. The fights end. McGregor comes out with his little posse, and he needed extra security because people were just all over him yelling, Conor, what are you doing? Hey, can I have a picture? Sign this, sign that. And Conor's walking through. He's taking time, but security is led by a guy by the name of Cosmo and the Cowboys. And they were providing security around the chip, and they needed some extra security, but all of our security team couldn't watch Conor because the Buffalo Chip is a big thing, big piece of land. And so they had to have some other guys go to do some other security detail. So they asked me, Dallas, do you mind stepping in, playing tour guide? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll lend a hand. I hadn't been drinking. So I step in. All of a sudden, it's me and Conor McGregor walking. And he goes, what else is there to see? What else is there to see? I'm like, okay, how about, do you want to get a shot up on top of the hill with like the stage in the background? Oh, that's fucking brilliant. You're the man. So we walk up to this top deck bar and people are following us and we're like having to shove him out of the way. And him and his three buddies, he's like, Conor McGregor hands me his phone. He goes, picture. So I start taking pictures. And he's like, video. And I video and he turns around with his buddies, puts his arms around him. And it was like unreal. And all I could think of was, don't drop this fucking phone. Don't drop this phone. It's Conor McGregor's phone. Don't drop it. So I'm taking videos. Fans are all over him. And it was ultimate. And so Conor's like, where else can we go? I'm like, well, there's the beach. And the beach is like this little separate thing that a lot of people go to during the day at the Buffalo Chip to hang out. It's like a little man-made lake with a big deck around it. And then it's got this cantina bar and then this other big bar. And then live bands play after the big bands play usually. Big Skillet was playing that night. So I'm like, Conor, we can go to the beach. He's like, oh, the beach. Yes, the beach. Yeah. And he kept saying to his buddies when they were drinking, he goes, just have a nibble. And I was dying laughing. It was awesome, dude. Just a nibble for you, just a nibble. They were drinking this vodka or whatever they had. So we're walking through this kind of vendor thing, and Conor's still in his like huge blacked out suit, and we're walking by a vendor, and he's like, what is this? I'm like, oh, this is just a leather vendor. I'm like, you want to go in? He's like, yeah. So we go in, and I tell the security, I'm like, don't let anybody else in. So me, Conor, his buddies, and his manager walk in there. And he's looking at like those Stone Cold Steve Austin vests, but they didn't have anything on them. And he's trying them on, and he takes off his jacket and his shirt. He lays it down, and he's trying them on. He's like, oh, yeah, this look good. I'm a biker, baby. And we're all laughing. And then I'm like, Conor, look at this. And I hold up an Irish patch to stick on the back. He's like, oh, brilliant. So this old 7-year-old lady, she's like trying to patch it on, and Conor's like, let's go to the beach. So I'm like, okay. As we're leaving, I see his suit jacket and his button-up shirt still laying there. And two thoughts go through my mind. Two thoughts. I grab that, put it in my backpack, frame it, put the picture of me and him in the frame, and I've got an all-time story. Or I can be a good guy, grab it, and give it to him, and I level up more in the Conor McGregor book. I chose B, and I'm too nice of a guy, I guess. A lot of my friends are like, dude, you should have kept that, but I couldn't do it. So I gave Conor a shirt back. He's like, oh, you're a man. This is expensive, Prada. You're the man. So I give it back to him, and the party continues. So we're going by the beach. As we're walking into the beach, this blonde midget walks by. And he's like, hey, baby, talking all types of shit. It was awesome. It was all time. And I'm like, and she tries to come in. I'm like, hey, easy. And Conor's like, no, she's with us. I'm like, okay. So he just talks to this blonde gal, and it was hilarious because we've known this blonde chick. She's been coming to the chip every year. But anyway, so it's me, Conor's posse, his manager, security, and this blonde lady. And we're walking around, and Conor's like, let's go get a drink. Well, the bar got packed. So we had this other patio area, and he sat there, him and his buddies drank, and his 3 Irish buddies, I couldn't understand anything they were saying. They were so Irish. All I could understand was, I fucking fight anybody. I fight anybody. Who want to fucking fight? I fight anybody. And they were so funny, and they were well on their way to having a good time, if you know what I mean. And then the big thing is, bikers after the concert, they go and burn rubber behind the stage, like just on the street. They burn their back tires. It's a pretty cool thing after like the first 5 minutes, but they do it like hours on hours. So Conor's like, what is all the rubber? And I'm like, oh, they're burning tires. So we head over there with Conor McGregor, and dude, these tires are spitting out rubber, pavement, what rocks, you don't know. Conor's like, get a video. So he's over there walking, and I'm videoing, and all I could think about was, I'm like, dude, hopefully none of this gravel, pavement, nothing hits Conor, and he's just having a great time. We head back to the beach area, had so much fun with him, and walked him back to his trailer. He treated everybody really nice. He was really nice to the fans, but it kind of ruined it for me a little bit. Excuse me, I had to take a drink. It ruined it for me because when you're that famous, everybody wants something from you. Like when I went to bed that night, all I could hear was Conor, Conor, Conor in my head. Like people yelling Conor, wanting something from him, and I felt bad. And I was like, man, that has to be, I mean, he's got the money, he's got everything, but that's an interesting thing. So walking back to his trailer, and that was that. That's the Conor McGregor story all time. The next day I wake up and a video went viral of him and the blonde gal that we had met at the beach, and me in the background, and this video went mega viral, and it was all time. But Conor had a great time at the Buffalo Chip. He said he's coming back every year. I'll be here every year. I'll fucking fight anybody. So he'll be here every year. So shout out Conor McGregor for being a good dude, cool dude. There was some sketchy shit that happened along the way too that I'm not going to mention, but it was an all-time night, and anybody to come to the Buffalo Chip and give us the time of day to show everybody how fun it is, they appreciate it. So Conor, you're the man, and don't forget, I give you back your jacket. So next day was Travis Tritt. It was a fun day, but I felt like everybody was a little tired from Saturday night and the BKFC and the Conor McGregor stuff. So Monday rolled around. It was Quiet Riot and Aaron Lewis, and everybody kept talking about Dana White being in Deadwood. Rumorville started going. Dana White's in Deadwood. Deadwood's a town about 30 minutes away, I'd say, from the Buffalo Chip, and how he was there gambling, hanging out. He had an Airbnb for the week. We heard every story. I'm like, dude, I don't know. We fast forward through that night. Aaron Lewis, Quiet Riot, they play on the stage. Aaron Lewis came out very political. He only did an acoustic set, which was the first acoustic set I'd ever seen at the Buffalo Chip. No drums, just him and his two buddies. But it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. Quiet Riot was awesome. Bang your head. So Quiet Riot was great. But the next night was one of our big nights. Tuesday, August 6th, Jelly Roll and Dasha. And usually when bigger bands are rolling in, they've got all these trucks. And the previous nights, there was a few trucks, but for Jelly Roll, there was a shit ton of trucks, like a lot. And he came in with this huge screen. He had nitrous tanks on each side. And I'm like, dude, this is going to be all time. And Dasha was there as well. And she's got that very good viral song right now on TikTok called Austin, I think. And it was an all-time night. Huge crowd. As a bar team, that was like our first big wave, if you will, of people. So the bar team was ready to go. They did a great job. So Jelly Roll comes out. And I've liked Jelly Roll. Don't get me wrong. I've always thought he was good, but I never really listened to much of his music. Was never a true Jelly Roll guy. After that show, I'm not kidding you, there was multiple times, and I was sober. There was multiple times where I got shivers. Like the show that he played, he starts it out with talking about his early days, going to prison. The whole concert was a storybook to his life. And then he played these great covers like Lose Yourself by Eminem, It's Tricky by Run DMC, all these great hits. And then he had like Fire, and then at the end he sang Lonely Road, one of his new song with MGK, and it was like one of the coolest concerts I've ever been to. Fantastic. And then at the end of the night, he goes, I got somebody here that I want to bring on stage so they can see how loud the Buffalo Chip can get. And Dana White walks out. So the rumors were true. Dana White walks out. He's standing center stage with Jelly Roll. And I'm like, holy shit. He's actually here at the Chip. The night ends. Nothing happens. We clean up. We get ready for Wednesday. Wednesday was Theory of a Dead Man and Hinder. Lips of an Angel. It was a fun show. Theory of a Dead Man. They still got it, baby. They still got it. Hinder was good as well, but Theory of a Dead Man closed out the show. But everybody, including myself, the staff, was getting ready for Thursday. Kid Rock night. Because you just know it's going to be packed. Biker fans, bikers, they all love Kid Rock, like I said early on in the show. And plus, I had heard through the grapevine that Dana White was coming with 20 of his friends. So earlier in that day, I talked to Damon Woodruff, the president of the Buffalo Chip, and we're talking, and he's like, hey man, I need you to get this like little owner suite kind of thing. Nobody else has ever sat there except for Woody and the Woodruff family. He's like, hey man, I need you and Todd Bailey to help out, get some tables up there, set up a bar, get everything you would ever need, get some food, get everything ready to go for Dana and his crew, but kind of keep it under wraps. I'm like, I got you. So we spent the next couple hours getting this kind of mobile bar ready. And while I was getting it ready, I'm like, I go back to the Conor McGregor story when I didn't take advantage of an opportunity. I kind of did, but I caught Conor when he had a few drinks. Let's be honest. I caught him when he had a few drinks, and I missed that opportunity to interview him. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, Dana White's coming. I'm a big UFC fan. I'm not fucking missing out on this opportunity. So I called Damon back and I'm like, bar's ready. We're good. Todd Bailey, he's like, Dana White's in the house. I can't believe it. This is crazy. Todd's got this very distinct voice. And if you know him and you're listening, you're probably laughing. But if you don't, he's awesome. But he's like, Dally. He always called, Dally, I know you're kind of my son, but we can't mess this Dana White thing up. This is going to be huge. This is going to be bigger than the same we ever seen. So we wait. And I talked to Damon. Damon's like, hey, meet him in the back. Bring him up. Be kind of his personal guide. We've got a bartender. Shout out Seb. He's this bartender that flew in from Los Angeles for the Sailor Jerry team, who is fantastic, by the way. Sailor Jerry and Milagro, the tequila. So Dana pulls up, and he didn't pull up like Conor did. He didn't pull up in murdered out trucks. Him and 20 guys walk in the back gate. And I walk up to him and I go, Mr. White, my name's Dallas Hansen. I'll be kind of your tour guide / personal assistant. Whatever you need tonight, just let me know, or any of your friends. He's like, perfect. What's your name? I'm like, Dallas. He's like, the city. He goes, okay, cool. And we walk up, I show them where they're standing, and I had earplugs because you're right next to the speakers. Like it was loud as fuck. It was very, very loud. And Kid Rock hadn't started yet, and I'm handing out to him and his buddy earplugs. And I go to Dana White. I'm like, hey, Mr. White, you want some earplugs? He goes, fuck no. Fuck that. I'm here to listen. I'm here to be a part of the show. I'm like, oh, this guy's the man. So everything starts rolling. Kid Rock comes on stage. And if you haven't seen Kid Rock, he's like the all-time performer. And he played all of his hits, everything, except he didn't play Picture. He started playing it, and then he's like, fuck that, I'm sick of that song. And he skipped to the next. But I knew he was going to be on from 10:30 p.m. to midnight. So I'm watching my watch just to know like when the end's coming and when something cool is going to happen. 11:40 rolls around, and the stage goes black. And everybody's like, what the fuck? And by the way, there's 70,000 people in the amphitheater watching this, maybe 75,000, a shit ton of people. And Trump comes on the big screen and he goes, you're watching one of the greatest performers of all time, possibly of the century. And he just went on and on, and he's like, have a safe time, have a great time, and don't forget to rock and roll. And the place went fucking bananas. And I mean bananas. Anytime Trump was on there, and then it lit up back up to the stage, Kid Rock comes out, welcome to the greatest fucking show on earth. And the place was so loud that Dana White turned and looked at me and was just laughing. And all of his buddies were laughing. And it was amazing. And to be there kind of where the stage was and hear the voice and hear the cheers, it was unreal experience. So the concert ends. And this is where the plot thickens. The concert ends. Meanwhile, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about that Conor McGregor scenario. I'm like, Dallas, don't mess this up. There's a lot on the line. A lot of people trusting you from the Buffalo Chip to make sure Dana has a good time. Let's make this go. Show ends. Dana looks at me and goes, hey, I want to go back and talk to Bobby. And I'm like, Bobby? He goes, yeah, Kid Rock. I'm like, oh, yeah, Bobby, yeah. Meanwhile, my counterpart, Todd Bailey, he's there. Dana, I need a picture. Can I get a picture with you? I'm like, dude, Todd, come on. Dana's like, yeah, sure, buddy, anything you want. So he takes a picture, then I get a picture with Dana. And I'm like, okay. And then Damon shows up, the president, and he's like, hey, I'll take you guys backstage. So it's me, Damon, and Dana heading backstage. We pull up to the dressing room, the green room, and Kid Rock's sitting there, having a stogie, Coors Light. Dana sits down next to him. So in this room, it's Kid Rock, Dana White, Damon, Rod Woodruff, the OG owner, and myself. And I'm like standing in the doorway. And I honestly thought I was like living a dream. I like almost had to pinch myself. I'm like, what happened? How did I get here? And Dana and Kid Rock just sat there and talked like they were best friends. And they weren't talking about anything normal. Or they were talking about everything normal, excuse me. But they were just like old buddies sharing a stogie and talking about the show. And Damon and Woody were there. And I just was standing there in disbelief trying to act cool, but and pretend I was kind of security and make sure nobody came in that wasn't supposed to. But it was an all-time moment. All-time moment. I wanted to get my phone out and take a quick picture and be like, dude, just so I had proof or a video. But you got to act professional in that shit. So I didn't. So Kid Rock goes, I'm going to fly out tonight. Dana goes, fuck that. I'm staying here and partying. And Dana, not a big drinker, nothing like that, but he wanted to kind of get the McGregor treatment, if you will, get shown around. So he's like, Dallas, where should we go? I'm like, let's go to the beach. He's like, the beach? This place has a fucking beach? And when Dana White talks, he's got like this very distinct, he looks you in the eye. So you know, like it's business. So we walk over to the beach, and I had my flashlight going where his feet were walking because it's dark out. And he's like, hey man, turn that shit off. I'm like, okay, sorry. He's like, I want to act normal. I want to talk to every fan. I want to act cool with everybody. I just want to mingle. I want to have fun. I'm like, perfect. That sounds great. So we walk up to the beach bar, and he's like, what do you get to drink here, Dallas? I'm like, I love the slushies. He's like, perfect. Hands me a shitload of money. He's like, tip the bartender and get me and my buddies slushies. I'm like, okay, perfect. So I walk up there. I'm like, hey, I need 20 slushies and the rest is yours. And the bartenders almost started crying. So me and another pit boss bring these slushies over, and Dana White's having a great time. Took time to talk to literally every fan. Made it very socially fantastic for anybody. Pictures, whatever you want. He was the man, dude. And then he's like, hey, what band is this? I'm like, oh, they're called Big Skillet. And he's like, hey, man, I want to give them some money. I'm like, okay. So I hand the money to Damon. Damon gives it to Big Skillet. And Big Skillet's like, what? Who gave us that? And Damon told him it was Dana White. So Big Skillet finished their song. And Big Skillet goes, I want everybody to know one of the greatest Americans in United States history is here with us tonight, Dana White. And there's probably 300 people at this beach party. And they all went nuts, like cheered loudly. And Dana White just raised his glass, gave him a toast, and laughed. And then he looks at me and he goes, this is the most fun I had in fucking 20 years. Most fun I've had in 20 years. And him and his buddies, you could tell they were just having so much fun, living free, having a good time, exactly what the Buffalo Chip is all about. And it was just fun to see. And again, I wasn't drinking. I wanted to drink with those guys. I love a good slushie with tequila in it. And then he finishes the one, so he's like, hey, go get us some more slushies. Like, those are good. So I go back, get him some more slushies, and it was a lot of fun. So then it's about 1:45, I'd say, a.m. And I'm like, hey, dude, we should go before the bar closes. It gets a little nuts when the bar closes. He's like, yeah, let's go. So we go, and we're walking back, and I'm like, Dallas, you got to take advantage of this. So Dana and I are step for step. And he goes, what else do you do other than this, man? Because this is only, 14 days? I'm like, yeah. I go, well, I farm and ranch with my parents. And I also do this podcast called Swim Lessons. And I also am trying to become a sports broadcaster, comedian, whatever. I love talking, and I love talking sports, and I love being a broadcaster, UFC, anything. He's like, no kidding. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, take my number down. Send me a reel. My heart stopped. My heart stops. I'm like, dude, thank God the Conor thing is gone now. We took advantage of the opportunity. So I sent him a reel. Who knows if anything will come of that. I debated even telling anybody that, but we'll see. Maybe we'll look back on this and it'll be funny. So I'm just shaking and trying to act cool. And I go, hey, Dana, I hope you had a great time. And he's like, oh, I had a fantastic time. He takes out money and he tipped out everybody, including me and the security guards from that night, a very good amount of money. And that's something he didn't have to do, but he greatly, greatly appreciated it. And not every superstar is like that. And it really took me by surprise. And it took me some time to be like, dude, there's different types of famous. There's, McGregor famous, where, living the rock star life, you're having a good time. And then there's Dana White famous, where, hey, I want to be, like he said to me when I had the flashlight, hey man, I just want to mingle. Like, turn that off. I just want to mingle with who anybody walks through. I just want to be one of them. And he was. And he will go down as one of the most influential people in my life, and also one of the coolest, famous people I've ever seen in my life. Meanwhile, Todd Bailey, who was my buddy, that was helping me set up the bar, he works at Chip as well. He's blowing me up, texting, where did you and Dana and the kid go? What, Dally, answer your phone. Where's the kid? Where's Dana? Why are you hogging him? It was awesome. So we walk Dana back. He leaves, and I walk back into the camper, the trailer that I was staying in at employee camp. I turn on the light, and I just sat down, and I just started laughing to myself. And I like historically laugh. I'm like, I can't believe what just happened. I can't believe the run I just had. Like, I can't believe that. I can't believe the run Buffalo Chip just had. Two of the biggest people in the fight sport came and visited us. This is insane. And we had 2 great shows. Jelly Roll sold out the place. Kid Rock sold out the place and some. And BKFC was fantastic. And then the next night was Brett Michaels, Friday, the closing night. Brett Michaels, and he was good too, but we were all kind of partied out by then. And then Mini Kiss was also there. But what the Buffalo Chip did this year, it was a music festival. It was a motorcycle rally. It was everything, but it made people realize that you can have fun no matter who you are. When you walk through the Buffalo Chip gates, you're just another person. You're just there to have fun. And I think Dana White realized that. And when he said, man, this is the most fun I've had in 20 years, it made my heart happy, because I'm sure anytime he's in Vegas gambling, whatever, it's probably not like that. He's probably not with some of his closest buddies. He's probably not, he's probably getting bombarded for photos, asking for autographs, whatever. It wasn't that way at the Chip. And it was a lot of fun. And that's it. That's the story. So thank you for listening. I appreciate it. And I'll let everybody know what happens with the highlight reel that we're going to send to Dana. And fingers crossed that something cool comes of it. But to close, I just want to thank everybody that worked with me at the Buffalo Chip. They mean a lot to me. And I just also want to thank the Woodruff family, Jeff D'Entremont for giving me the job, Tanner Leak, Big Joe, Sam Matush. I'm sure I'm missing some other, Nick Yelton, all my buddies that helped me keep going. This was my 5th year, and it's tough. Like I'm filming this 4 days after rally, and I'm still tired. I also want to shout out my girlfriend for letting me go. She's a saint. But it was an all-time weekend, all-time party, and don't forget to check out the best party anywhere, the legendary Buffalo Chip.